On today's episode of Unauthorized Personnel, we're visiting an abandoned China factory in the American Northeast. Built in the early 1900s and opened in 1909, this place struggled to get its financial footing for the better part of a decade after opening. The company purchased a nearby pottery company and relocated its plant and headquarters after the acquisition. The company was a major manufacturer for the American Haviland Company. In addition to taking on production for Haviland, this company was also famous for having produced tableware for presidents, as well as having commissioned a commemorative plate for both Presidents Dwight Eisenhower as well as Lyndon B. Johnson. After World War II, the company grew exponentially. The facilities were once again expanded, adding many new features such as a new 200-foot tunnel kiln, as well as the first fast-fire kiln. The company expanded consistently throughout the 1900s by absorbing other tableware companies. The company eventually became the largest employer for the town in which this location resides. The company was eventually bought out by Anchor Hawking in 1979, and considerable money was spent modernizing the factory. In 1987, the company was again sold to Canadian Pacific. Canadian Pacific reorganized, and all current employees were forced to reapply for their jobs. Many employees left and did not return. The company limped along until finally the location was permanently closed in 1991. This location was a victim of arson, both in 2011 and in 2012. Many of the buildings were destroyed by the fires. Join us as we venture inside the ruins to see what still remains. Whoa. Yeah, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah, if you get that upper stuff, that's awesome.
The upper stuff? Oh yeah, it's all, the top of the building's all caved in. That was inside of a building at one point.
Yeah, this is like insanity. Oh my, one of the old lower warehouses.
Somebody built a fire ring.
Yeah. That looks like a pretty decent access point.
Yeah.
So let's see this. I think this is the portion against the road. Watch the muck.
Yeah, somebody definitely was having fun.
Out to do that, and comical fire hydrant symbol there.
Fire hydrant symbol?
Yeah, look at the art.
Oh.
Looks like a little. I had no idea that this was this big.
That's what she said.
That looks like some of the molds.
Oh yeah.
Down there. So would you feel all right going through here?
Yeah.
All right.
This place had some, I think some of the first, I think they call them tunnel kilns.
I think that's what this stuff is. I think that's what that is right there.
Yeah, these are, they're tunnel kilns.
That's some of these.
What's all this stuff? Look at that, books and stuff. Wow.
Oh my god, I'm pulling it like this.
No way. occupational injury or disease.
Oh God, don't take pictures of that. This is all employment shit.
Was cleaning under the mold pusher on the return to the conveyor side. He was using a broom, and when he pulled the broom back, he hit his elbow on an empty rack located directly behind him. He did not look behind him before he pulled the broom back. He sweeps in too much of a hurry to get his job done. The empty racks were placed too close to work.
So they blame him.
Counseling of injured, be more careful and not rush job. I recommend that racks be placed elsewhere. Isn't that some shit?
Yeah, so
They blamed him for injuring himself. It's like, what are these, like x-ray slides?
it could be artwork.
Like,
Somebody's lungs?
they're x-rays.
These were medical records.
Yeah.
What a shame.
This was an x-ray. This is a chest x-ray.
That's when the travelers and shoulders.
Why is there a chest x-ray here?
Maybe the heat was too much in front of his lungs. There's social security numbers at the top of this.
There's like a shit ton of...
This is 1984. Oh man. Yeah, definitely don't take pictures of this. I mean, you can take a picture of the pile.
Yeah.
Close-ups.
Well, Bill, you know, here's the thing. I always say I want to find a place that's like got lots of stuff left over. I think we found one. Yeah, it's just unbelievable to me that like there's this much that's still just left, and not only that, but like if it's been here since the 90s, that there's this much stuff that remains unbroken.
I don't think there's anything of value to anybody. I mean,
No, it's just amazing to me that like that there would be anything left that would be unbroken after such a long period of time. You know what I mean? Like I would think that the vandalism would be so much to the point to where there would literally be like nothing left. What is this?
it's like a ramp for shipping. This might have been an office. I see carpet.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing this was probably an office area. Oh yeah, for sure. And a curved wall. Wow. What's up?
Oh, it is. It's the giant parking lot.
Oh, this was the parking for the...
Yeah, it's for parking for customers and let you out like real quick. I wouldn't make yourself too hard.
Yeah.
Probably one of the offices. I can't imagine that this office ran the whole business. You never know though.
I mean, it's possible.
That's true.
Like, they probably didn't require a huge... I mean, they probably had, like,
All the hiring personnel.
the hiring personnel, like human resources.
Yeah, this is it. This is the office.
Yeah.
Accounts payable, receivable. bills.
Right.
This is absolutely.
I don't. Is that what they is that what they fired the stuff in?
I don't know.
Is that like a stoneware type thing or something that they're porcelain?
I've never seen anything like that. I've only worked with like
Huh.
art kilns like at the
Yeah.
community college that were this high.
Where you get like the greenware and the yeah, like doing ceramics.
Can you imagine how hot this was?
Oh, it had to be unbelievably.
That's probably why there's all those pictures of the X-rays.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because people were breathing in
The hot fumes.
the hot fumes and stuff. Yeah, that's probably why there were lung X-rays. And plus, if there was asbestos.
Yeah. Over there and project right in. The bird.
This is definitely a tunnel kiln. Wow. Yeah, that looks like some kind of oven or some kind of.
Maybe it's the ventilation.
That might be. Yeah, this might be their HVAC,
Or just the cooling system for the ovens if they got too hot.
or possibly that. Well, yeah, given the direction that the
Right.
pipes are running up there, it's probably.
I wish I was an engineer.
It's running toward the kilns. I would say, yeah, that's probably a little bit of a either cooling or venting system.
So
Yeah.
there's two kilns.
Right.
There's a center area as well.
Yeah. Probably so that they can be loaded from either side.
That and probably the temperature's controlled.
Yeah. But like, so on this side, you've got a track.
Right.
And then over here, you've got a track.
And it comes all the way back here.
And it's so my guess is that this was these were the tunnel firing areas. Yeah, everything was on the tracks, and I'm guessing that it went from one end to the other and was fired throughout the whole thing. Wow, this is nuts looking.
This is excellent. It's actually
It had to be unbearably hot in here. This is really cool though, how the light's hitting all that foliage up front, up ahead. Oh yeah, you can see there's a creek down here. Yep, that's where they likely drew all their water for their. Yeah. Yeah, this building probably had hot power at one point, and they blocked it off with these fences. Try to keep people away from the high voltage areas.
yeah. Pretty freaking heavy.
They've got crates of stuff that's still shrink wrapped.
And we're back over by the original part of the building,
Right.
which is the top floor that's like caving in. So.
Yeah. Well, the shrink wrap's still there, but the contents inside aren't.
No? Oh, okay. I just saw the shrink wrap.
Yeah. Well, no. That's a good catch.
They're tins.
Oh.
At one point they must have done giveaways.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like those restaurant dishes.
Yeah. Well, I know they did do
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah, these aren't glazed.
No, they're not. That's the word I was looking for. Glazed. They're still flat.
That's the brand, I think.
Haviland.
Haviland. That
Yeah.
might have been the restaurant chain. Who knows?
The Haviland is I think it's a brand of tableware. Yeah. What is this?
I don't know. Has it been built by people that come here?
No, this was built by.
Oh, look, there's like another one.
Are they like
Steam or something.
water It had something to do with some water.
Have a tower.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's almost like they were. Yeah, they were designed to have something flowing in there.
Yeah, look at that.
Like, I don't know.
Unless these are like the very first kilns that they did.
Right. It just, to me, it looks kind of like it was designed for water flow. But
Very cool.
I don't know. I don't know for sure. Okay, we got yet another, holy warehouse. Yeah, this is the warehouse. Wow. This is Mount China here. Unbelievable.
Water dripping on China.
Is that what that is? This right here, I think, was definitely a kiln.
Yeah.
And this had a ladder. This was an access point to get to something.
In-ground kilns. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so
That's how it started.
as far as thermal insulation, you can't get much better than in ground.
And if you have to cool it off, you just add water.
Add water. Yep.
Yeah, but I think those came from upstairs.
Probably. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They fell through the floor for sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm like a little
Because
worried
look up here.
Yeah, that's why I'm worried about going any farther. God, there's a whole back room of pallets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came through the floor.
Yeah.
There's a hole in the ceiling.
Yep. Yeah. These molds.
I mean, we're by a structural wall. That's kind of strange, but, well, that's just a wood floor.
Yep. Those beams just rotted out.
Yeah.
Those support beams. They're just completely rotted.
Yeah. Freaking me out.
Wow. This place is just
Oh, dude.
completely.
Right here.
Got a little lens flare going on, but
Oh, sometimes that's nice. Not just right where the beam was.
whoa,
Is that a kiln?
whoa, yeah, but they
They were all cemented over.
they cemented over them. Yeah,
This, holy crap. That is just way too much.
like this is. They just put rebar down and cemented over it. Yeah, this was definitely asbestos-lined pipes. It goes to the upstairs.
This is so cool.
Punch cards. Okay. All the molds.
Definitely can smell the burn in here.
Yeah. Wonder if these were for bowls or mugs. This is just another.
Almost looks like the finishing of glaze powder.
That might be. Might be just like another kiln access area.
It could be, maybe this is porcelain.
This was clearly office area.
Oh.
Yeah, there's just like a ton of
Mechanical.
manuals and
Can you imagine how much different equipment they were going through just to keep up with the time?
Oh my
Just like
God.
we do with computers.
right.
Is that a hard drive? No, output DC. These are, oh, communication.
Those are controller modules of something.
Put them back the way they were. This is the chain link fence.
Oh, another one of those control modules.
Yeah.
AC input module.
They must have burned out pretty quick. And we were down at the old office that was 3 and 4.
What are these, like, big
They look like
generators? Gas generators?
something.
Look at this, like on the ceiling, there's that big, huge metal hopper. I don't know what this was used for, but that looks like another kiln. Oh,
Fibers?
those are, it's that big hopper is for coal. Check this out, those are boilers. This is all, it was a coal-fired power plant.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like all of this is all coal.
The electronics.
Right.
Valves, test valves and all that.
Yeah, this was all coal-fired power plant though. Crazy. So now we know what this building was.
That makes sense because this door is a railroad track.
Right.
Here.
Yeah, which makes sense for the coal.
Yeah.
And
That thing would go out with the truck.
those are boilers. That hopper up here is probably for all the coal to be fed down into this furnace right here, which then created the heat to power the boilers. Huh. I don't know. Yeah.
Tractors? I think that's it.
And that's a pallet jack there.
That's actually a
Yeah, it's graffitied and stuff.
maybe somebody got stuck. They're just riding it or
Yeah, it's graffitied. Boof Mobile. Woco lard oil?
I'm gonna stay away from that stuff because it can be highly contaminated.
What the? Lard oil? Oh, this is all recent shit. 22?
But I mean, they're using the factory next door too. Is this all coal?
These are
No.
graphite.
Yeah, they have access. See these tracks?
Mm-hmm.
I almost don't even want to be in here.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because,
Because I don't want to be held liable for any of that.
no. I mean, I'm like cage.
Yeah, the cage.
That was a little different.
This is such a cool
Yeah.
angle
that was
here.
such a- Again, that's like what I call the organic part of destruction and decay.
Well, that's all part of it.
It's becoming the earth now,
Yeah. Mother Nature's taking back what's hers.
just like us.
As we made our way back to the outside world, we were both struck by how much still remains at this location, despite being abandoned for 31 years. As far as locations go, this one did not disappoint. The relics left behind tell a story of a once bustling factory that became the largest employer for an area. It also is a cautionary tale of what can happen when a town's largest employer disappears, as well as the economic devastation that remains in its wake over 30 years later. We hope that you enjoyed your time with us today, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of Unauthorized Personnel.